Here is something that might blow your minds. Have you stopped to ponder maybe these anti-cop protests on the streets are having the opposite effect than intended? They're actually causing more people to die and creating more pain caused by senseless destruction of business than if you were to just allow cops to do their job properly. It's ironic, but these protests are vilifying the very professionals who are most capable of stopping the carnage on blacks in America. I see anti-cop rhetoric like FU12, ACAB, F the police, cop cars are burned and damaged, cops are spat on and yelled at. Now, I don't disagree with you. Bad cops do exist, but they are being held accountable for their actions. The system is working. Derek Chauvin is in jail, charged with second-degree murder. But you have to understand, not all suspects are cooperative. And they're not just uncooperative, some present a clear and present danger to the law enforcement officers who have to apprehend them. Some will resist, others will punch, a few will even shoot anything they can to get away. Police need to be allowed to use certain tactics of physical restraint to save lives. Not just their lives, but also the lives of the suspects they arrest. Here's my 2 cents on how the Atlanta Wendy's restaurant killing could have been prevented. First, I want to commend Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks, at least for the first 40 minutes of interaction, was a model citizen. He was polite, addressed the cop as sir. He was cooperative, moved his car out of the drive-through lane, did a sobriety test, took the breathalyzer test. He was honest, admitted he did drink. He was friendly and relatable, chatted up birthdays and family. He did everything someone who has a police interaction should do, and it was reciprocated by the cops. Officer Bronson and Wolf were nice and respectful to him, even offering condolence about Mr. Brooks's mother's passing and addressing him as my man. Then everything went to hell when the officers attempted to arrest him. Some people asked, why couldn't they just let him walk home? The cops couldn't, because you do not want to set a precedence where the next time Mr. Brooks gets drunk, he says to himself, it doesn't matter if I drive, because even if I get pulled over, they'll just let me go again. And some innocent family gets killed in a drunk driving accident. So fact is, a crime was committed and the arrest was not only lawful, it was mandatory. And here's where I think all the recent police hate led to Mr. Brooks's death, and no one is talking about it. You have 2 young, fit, strong, highly trained individuals in Officer Bronson and Wolf. They could easily have restrained him if they weren't second guessing themselves, if they weren't worried about what they did may be misinterpreted as police brutality in this life or death situation, if they were more aggressive and held out more strongly, if they had support from the community and not worried about how people are going to demonize them for being a little rough, if their morale was high, they would have been able to restrain Mr. Brooks and put him in cuffs, and he would still be alive today and celebrating a belated birthday with his daughter. Because if you look at the footage, the cops appear to be confused and questioning themselves about the use of force. Like, is this hold position okay? Is that technique lawful? It wouldn't have gone to the point where Mr. Brooks pointed a deadly weapon by the own words of the Atlanta DA. And not only did he point it, he discharged the taser at Officer Wolf, and the return fire killed him. My contention is this: had the cops been allowed to do their jobs normally, they would have been able to restrain Mr. Brooks and prevented him from stealing their weapon, running away, discharging a weapon against them, and getting shot. I won't ever, but if I were an uncooperative suspect resisting arrest, I would rather be roughed up and arrested than shot to death. And if it's a case of excessive force by the police, well, then you get a 6-figure payday from a lawsuit. And number 2, all these defunding, abolishing the police protests are dispiriting the good cops. They are calling in sick, quitting, or just simply not too enthusiastic about protecting the impacted communities. And all that puts everyone at greater risk. Look at these headlines. 27 people were killed in Chicago last weekend in one short weekend. 18 people were killed in Chicago back in May in one day. A 3-year-old boy is dead after being shot this past Saturday evening. And all that from one major U.S. city, Chicago, out of hundreds of major U.S. cities. People, wake up. There are sick asshole cops, yes, but they are not killing you. You are killing you. Police, on the contrary, are saving lives, all of our lives. Black, white, Asians, Hispanics, Martians, they need your support, and we need them more than ever. Instead of protesting against them, let's cheer them on and welcome them. Come on.